Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Hello and welcome to Plank of the Week. I'm Kevin O'Sullivan and you're not. And this is my panel powerhouse pub landlord, Adam Brooks, cracking commentator, Chloe Dobbs, brilliant comedian, Steve N. Allen, and the best thing to come out of Australia since Foster's Lager, Samara Gill. Right, let's get going. And Adam, you are first. Who have we got?
My nomination is the former Prince Andrew has made taxpayers fund his private massages while he was the trade envoy. It makes me wonder what else we paid for.
There he is, posing for the cameras again, looking good, looking good.
Needs a massage then.
I mean, this was a shocking revelation that when he was touring the world at our expense as a useless trade envoy, lining his own pockets, not doing anything for Britain, that he would book into these hotels, because he always had, everywhere he went, they kind of expected him to live or to stay at the local embassy or consulate, but he never wanted to. He always demanded a whole floor in some five-star hotel with its own golf course. And now we learn that he used massages to come and see him at these hotels at our expense. It's extraordinary.
I do wonder if that was all that we...
Yeah, did you see the story that she told, this massage? So she actually showed a cheque from the Royal Bank account, which is Coutts, very upmarket VIP bank. And of course, royal money is effectively our money. And she had the cheque, I think it was like 75, the equivalent of 75 quid or something. Right. But she said that she went there thinking, oh my God, it's Prince Andrew. And then he walked in sort of stark naked.
Wow. Well, did he want a happy ending?
Well, I suspect he did, Adam, yeah.
Fair enough.
Turned out that happy in the long run,
Just
doesn't
had
it?
some knots in his back that...
yeah, something like that. That's what.
I'm sure,
that's his story, and he's sticking to it.
He couldn't afford undergarments, you know. It's just it's very rough for him. No, it's disgusting.
Yeah, and his notoriety is going global because this was a weird thing. That instantly iconic picture of him cowering in the back of that car after he'd been arrested for 12 hours. They hung that in the Louvre in Paris. That's weird, isn't it, Steve?
It is weird, but it also looks like, can we have a whip round and buy this guy a booster seat? I've never seen a grown man not fit in a car very well. Look at that. He's...
Now, if you see the stills, there's 4 stills from that photographer, and he's higher, he gets lower every still, and then he disappears from view.
The guy, just bad advice. His whole life, bad advice.
Bad man.
What he should not have done in those circumstances, he'd just been in a police cell for 12 hours, was being driven out, and that brave photographer from Reuters apparently literally leapt in front of the car to get the picture. Andrew should have been told, sit up straight like a man. Yeah. Don't cower like a little coward, right?
He should have the good posture as well, because he was, rubbed within an inch of his life every time we went to a masseuse. He should have great posture.
No, you're right. The PR strategy has been disastrous from the get-go for Andrew. I think he's been totally ill-advised. Every which way he's acted entitled. As, the famous Andrew Lowney book that's now a bestseller this week has said. I mean, he genuinely, I think that he still doesn't really think he's done anything wrong and this is all just a ruckus. I really do think that. And he thinks he can just go off into the shadows and be rid of this. It's just not the case.
Yeah, and apparently he had a starring role on Antiques Roadshow this week.
Well, thank you for bringing in your Randy Andy plate today. How did you come to get it?
I picked it up at an Epstein Island car booter.
Dated around 2026. Look at the red eyes, very rare. It's from the exclusive Startled Privilege collection, very sought after. Each plate features a unique guilty crisis gaze.
That's just so ridiculous, isn't it?
I've seen people have started making mugs with this photo on as well. The ones that look like, I don't even remember when Trump came to visit, people were making fake like fancy china plates with the picture of Trump and Epstein and sneaking them into the gift shop at Windsor Castle. And people are making similar sort of ornaments now of that photo of Andrew. I mean, it's a great photograph. I saw that.
I hate the word iconic because it's overused, but that is an instantly iconic
and the
photograph.
Reuters photographer, he nearly missed it. He waited outside for hours. He did a bunch of test shots on a bunch of other cars, and it seemed like Andrew wasn't coming out. So he went back to the hotel, and then he got a last-minute call saying, "We see some cars moving. Get down here." And he just made it on time and happened to have the right settings on the camera and everything to get that perfect shot. But he said it was super hit or miss.
Well, he was working for Reuters, so you probably find it's Reuters copyright. So he personally might not have made that much money. He was probably just on a shift.
Shame.
So probably for that picture, he probably got about 300 quid or something like that.
And it should have generated millions.
Oh, that picture will generate millions and millions and millions. And do you want to know? I don't know what the score is now, but until about 10 years ago, the biggest selling press photograph in the world ever was a picture that the Sunday People in about 1959 put on the front page. And it was somebody took a picture of the Alps below from an aeroplane like that. And it came up and it looked like the motif looked a bit like the face of Jesus. So the headline was "The Face of Jesus in the Alps." And that picture has generated tens and tens of millions of pounds. And on that bombshell, you are next, Chloe. What have you got?
It's going to be Zack Polanski, who has told us...
No, David Polden.
David Polden, who's got this, fake name, fake personality... the dodgy teeth and everything. And there might be some more people walking around the streets with dodgy teeth soon because heroin and crack cocaine are going to be legalised in Zack Polanski's socialist utopia. No doubt the taxpayer will be forking out to pay for the heroin and crack cocaine, and they'll give them safe rooms to do it in and free needles like they do in California. Look how well it's worked out in California. And
yeah,
this
but it's
comes
not free. Crack and heroin is not legalised in California.
Oh, but they've got this magic money tree with which they're going to pay for everything. And not just that, they are going to provide houses and a universal basic income for any and all illegal migrants that want to come here. They're giving them an amnesty. And you know what they've also said about the housing situation? They said, if you are a member of the LGBTQIA alphabet soup plus community, we will give you your own home. You won't have to share it with anyone. You'll give you your own home to yourself for, quote, safeguarding reasons. Where is the money coming from for all of this?
It's not the point. They're never going to get in. And the point about the Green Party, the point about Zack Polanski, that weird-looking geek, is, look at him, what a weirdo. They're like, my generation, when we were kids, we used to say things like this to our parents to shock them. They should make heroin legal. Let everyone into the country. Borders are wrong. Like silly little kids. That's what the Green Party are like. They're like adolescents trying to shock their parents.
You weren't polling third or second in elections. That's the worrying thing, isn't it? This could actually happen, and
Yeah, but they're not going to. The danger is when we come to the general election, that the right are so splintered and fractured that we may end up with a mad mosaic coalition of the left, Labour, Lib Dems, Greens and a few other stragglers. And that would mean we might well end up with Prime Minister Ed Miliband and that bloke David Polden, Zack Polanski, in the cabinet, which doesn't bear thinking about. But he did lay out his political worldview in a party political broadcast. Take it away, Zack.
Look, I get it. We all hate party broadcasts. We just want to watch Corrie or whatever's on next. But I just want to take a moment to ask you to remember something the government want you to forget. They want you to forget that right now we are living in rip-off Britain. So as you get back to your programmes, please just remember this. We're not just making hope normal again together. It's already here. It's all of us.
Why was he in like this 70s style room? Very weird. I suppose they'll argue, oh, well, it got us talked about. But what struck me is, in that party political broadcast, the Green Party, he never once mentioned the environment or net zero or anything like that, and was sitting next to an extremely unenvironmental, old-school gas fire. Did you notice that?
I mean, he's a walking hypocrisy. Even when you talk about the drugs taking and the legalising of all that, he's never taken drugs.
Never taken any drugs,
He's never been drunk in his life.
Never smoked a cigarette.
You
No,
know-
he's never had a drink, never had an alcoholic drink.
I don't believe him.
Yes,
I
and
don't believe
also when you talk about giving people free houses, I mean, a lot of his MPs that he's standing up, I don't want to mention any names at the moment, but because there's an election. Well, there's an election going on, but they've got multiple houses.
You can
so,
mention it.
Oh, can I? Well,
Yeah.
Hannah
You have to list them
Spencer.
all,
I
don't
mean, Hannah Spencer, the do-good plumber that she's trying to be sort of advertised as, is totally. I mean, she's got 2 houses. So they're really actually doing everything that's antithetical to their own
She may
party
crop up
practices.
later in the show.
Oh.
But you say you don't believe. I believe him because he is an A-grade, world-class, Olympic standard weirdo.
He's a weirdo. And
I believe he's never had a drink. I believe he's never had a cigarette because only a weirdo would be able to say that.
anyone that feels they can vote for these with these leaders, I mean, and then the deputy is Mo Ali, who said some very questionable things after October 7th. You've got this joker, you know, he's just a clown show. But the worrying thing is 16 to 24-year-olds are buying into it because they do not understand the world.
And virtue signalling middle-class morons
Yeah.
who can afford to vote for Green.
And
So you're right, Adam. I mean, they are building up ahead of steam. And the one thing that I'll say about Zack Polanski, and I say this reluctantly, but there's no doubt about it, he's a good media performer, and he has, as you say, he has lured in all these idiots, 16 to 24-year-olds and middle-class virtue signalers. Right, Steve?
Yeah, they've also got the policy of legalising which I think means they're polling really well with former royals.
Okay, we'll have to cut
I think I said on this programme once before that the reason his teeth are so weird is that he's still got milk teeth. His adult teeth have not come through yet. Also, his adult thinking processes haven't developed yet, quite clearly. Shall we move on? Steve N. Allen, you've got the BBC, so you win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Although Andrew's already up
It's
there.
a good one, this one. Go on.
This is because of the BAFTAs and the coverage of the BAFTAs. Because normally I wouldn't like to comment about award ceremonies; they're all a bit pointless. And this story's got.
It's only because you never won it.
Oh, never even nominated.
So my career in journalism, I'm very proud to say, has been award resistant from start to finish. I've never been nominated. You know why? Because I'm no good. Carry on, Steve.
So at the BAFTAs, there was John Davison, who's the film I Swear is all about his life. He's got Tourette syndrome, and it's about the struggle. Imagine how difficult it would be if people don't understand your condition, the involuntary tics. You don't have to imagine, because that is what flipping happened with the obvious irony of this situation. Hollywood, or the actor side, the kind of people who are, they're allies of anyone with a disability. They're there, they're inclusive. Until you drop the N-bomb anywhere near some black actors, and all of a sudden he was thrown under the bus like you wouldn't believe. This guy didn't mean anything by it, did he? He's got a condition. You'd have to understand it.
Totally agree with you, Steve. The people there are actually sane and reasonable people having a go at poor John Richardson for what he said, calling him a racist. No. The thing about Tourette's is I once did a long interview with someone with serious Tourette's, and he was saying what it is, it compels you to say or shout the most inappropriate word or phrase possible in any situation. Tourette sufferers are always getting in trouble on trains because they sit down with the other passengers and they shout Allahu Akbar. Seriously. And so people having a go at John Richardson for saying that word are ridiculous. I don't blame BAFTA for inviting him either. I think that Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo handled themselves with great dignity. There's only one idiot in all of this.
BBC.
It's our friend, the BBC, who once again broadcast it.
So there's been a debate online. I saw some people saying you shouldn't be editing people's disability out. That's a stupid argument, because you edit it out of Kanye songs. Like, there's a word that Ofcom doesn't let you say. You don't play it on radio.
Well, they bleeped one, didn't they?
Exactly.
So they can't get away
So
with
this is clearly a mistake. And do you know why they made the mistake?
because of a truck coming past.
They were doing this in a broadcast vehicle.
Well,
they dropped the ball on this
Well,
one.
let's have a look at the BAFTAs, the BAFTA Awards. Take it away, guys.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
When I first see this and I could see the outrage online, I was thinking, is it something that he was thinking and then just comes out? But then what you've said, I spoke to 2 people that actually has met him and like him and said said it is. Literally, he thinks it's the worst thing that could be said, and it comes into your mind.
That's what the condition is about. It's the compulsion to say the worst possible thing you can say in any circumstance, and that's what happened here.
There's no way he'd be actually holding beef against these people. Do you know what I mean?
It's not his fault.
If you've got Tourette's, I imagine every so often you'd sneak in a C-bomb because you get away with it. If you have to have a chat with HR or if a traffic warden gets you, you'd call them that and say, sorry, it's the tick. But there is no way he genuinely had a problem here. It was clearly just the condition.
Yeah, I take issue with this. I totally take it. I think they should have bleeped it. I completely think it's not appropriate that
well,
went
they
out
did
on
bleep
broadcast.
it. That's the point.
No, I know, but the thing...
Try to keep up, Samara. They bleeped it.
No, I know, but
then a truck came
Free
past.
Palestine was then not bleeped. It's like, it shows that they can bleep certain things and they can't bleep
well,
others.
that's the whole point.
No, I know, but
They bleeped it, and then the second time he said it, they didn't bleep it, and they gave the excuse it was a truck going past the sound unit.
Yes, I know, but I don't know. The BBC, it's like that just certain things, they don't have any standards for anything. I'm just upset that Free Palestine was allowed to completely go unbleeped.
I think so when there is a mistake like this happens, it's the way that they deal with it that is always just very chaotic and unprofessional. So I mean, when you had
Bob Villan,
when you had Bob Villan, it ended up staying up on iPlayer for ages. And same in this case, there was this controversy about the fact it wasn't bleeped out, but it ended up online for 3 hours, I think it was, before they did anything about it. And then they put out these articles and statements apologising, saying we haven't done enough to safeguard the black community tonight, rather than just, OK, we made a mistake, we're going to sort it out straight away, and that's that. We don't need to make a whole meal out of it.
I don't know why anybody ever watches this stuff. I mean, the greatest joy for me is, because of my job, for something like probably 15, 20 years, I went to every single showbiz awards ceremony, the Oscars, the BAFTAs, you name it, I was there. Every single one of them driving me mad with boredom, absolute sheer tedium from start to finish, with lovies slapping each other on their backs. Oh, aren't you wonderful? Oh, you won an award, aren't you great? I mean, my advice to you all is don't even bother watching the BAFTAs in future. But what a screw up. Right, you've been, Samara, to the Islamic Republic of Whitechapel in East London, haven't you? Tell us all about it and who you are nominating to be Plank of the Week.
I mean, I'm nominating essentially those people who called the police over the Christian preacher, who essentially what happened was, if anyone hasn't seen this story, even though it's gone so viral now, is that there was a Christian preacher in Whitechapel, which according to that group of men in the video is a Muslim area. The police woman was called and she basically was a hero, and she said, we've got free speech in this country. And yes, I went down to Whitechapel a day or two ago and I went and asked some residents, is this a Muslim area? And a lot of them did say it was.
Well, it's because it is.
Yeah, but this is the problem. I mean, it's a real issue when you have in the United Kingdom certain communities that do believe that they've got areas where British law almost doesn't count. I mean, I went further. I pressed some of these residents. They said, people should be locked up for saying bad things about Islam. Last time I checked, that is not illegal in this country. So that's the issue when, unfortunately, you get these communities that are segregated off by, their own doing, and they're not integrated. And I've got no issue with immigration in general. As I said, my dad is half Indian, quite literally, but he integrated into the country that he moved into. And you've got, Whitechapel train station with Urdu on the side of it. It's not a good example of how the UK should be going forward.
Well, you're an Australian. Can you put your hand on your heart and say that you've really properly integrated, or are you an isolationist too?
I think I've colonised. I've colonised this.
Anyway, let's have a look at this video, shall we?
I understand that you guys don't want to hear it. I would recommend that you just move away and don't listen to him.
You can't do that. Yeah, but we live here.
You're going to stand here and
excuse me, we live here. So if we came outside,
you're not in his. He's not in your home.
No, but at the end of the day, this is our community.
It's the entitlement that these people have.
But it's also a lack of knowledge.
Yeah, but I've been to Whitechapel and I stood side by side with the Pink Ladies. And later on in that protest, we were surrounded by groups of young men. and they were threatening the pink ladies. Now, there's a video went quite viral of me shouting back at these, you know, to get away and stop being ridiculous. But that is quite a hostile area if you want to protest or you want to speak freely about Christianity. I'm an atheist. I don't agree in any religion, but I respect the right to people to preach that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We've got a problem there, haven't we, Chloe? As I say, the real problem is that, so this guy, he actually says, I heard him insult our religion. I heard him call, he said something, I think I heard him call the prophet a donkey. And that's why I called the police. The problem we have here culturally in this country is that guy actually thinks that's against the law.
Yeah, I mean, these guys seem to be absolutely gobsmacked that this guy wasn't going to be arrested.
Exactly.
They're like, what? He said something hateful. He's offended our religion. How on earth is he a free walking man? I mean, I'd say to these people, if you want to live in a country where anyone who offends you and speaks badly about your religion is arrested, then go move to another country. Go somewhere with Sharia law if that is the paradise you want to live under. Don't turn an area of London into your own Sharia law paradise. You don't create the law of the land. That's up to our country and our government, and that's not for you to say. And it's how they go around in gangs and intimidate people. Hats off to that preacher, for example, for having the guts to go to such a controversial area to do what he did. But also, huge hats off to that policewoman. I don't know if she had behind the camera there any other officers supporting her, but as just a young woman against this whole mob of men intimidating her and pressurising her, and they couldn't take no for an answer the first time. They kept pushing her, but she stood her ground. And I think that's quite refreshing when we've got this two-tier policing at the moment, where normally the police will take the easy route.
All right, OK, we better go to break.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is part 2 of Plank of the Week, and it falls upon me to make the next nomination. And she is that little class warrior, that little ball of class jealousy, the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson. Did you know she's from Newcastle, but she managed to go to Oxford University? Isn't that special? Anyway, she's in the cabinet and she's the Education Secretary, and she wants young boys as young as 5 years old when they're at primary school to experiment with wearing dresses. She said that this should be allowed, and the good thing is that she's acceded, she's accepted that if a little boy does want to wear a dress at school, then the state, the nation, the government will inform his parents. Isn't that special? Hey, Bridge, you're the government. You're the lousy Labour government. You're the state. The state does not bring up children. Mums and dads do. And don't you think, Samara, that if a little boy of 5 years old wants to wear a dress to school, he should be told, you can't do that?
I don't know. If I was her son, I probably would be trying to find another identity, get myself away from that dynastical family that is the Phillipsons, that is currently destroying this country as we know it. But I mean, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's also really, really dangerous that we didn't even have these laws in place to begin with. I mean, you can go down a California route where if you're not the parents are not meant to be informed, and then the teachers and the school has all the power. And, if the parents don't agree, if you say, oh, Billy, you can't go to school in that dress, then child protection services can get available or be used. I think that's the dangerous path that we might go down under a Labour government.
This is Adam, this is part of a new report, a guidance report by the government. Bridget Phillipson's really dragged her heels on it, but she's finally come out with it. And this is a response to the Supreme Court ruling on biological sex. In this guidance, it says that if kids as young as 4 want to socially transition, to identify as a different gender, then they should be allowed to, as long as their parents know. I've got a better idea. Don't let them.
Unfortunately, and I think many of them will be Green voters, parents want to encourage this sort of thing, Kev. Some people see trans kids or kids that they can put in dresses as the trendy accessory to have around them. And with such a warped and woke thinking in this country.
So right.
Look, my kid, if my kid said he wanted to wear a dress when he was younger, I wouldn't have let him out the house. I would have locked him in his room, probably get arrested for that. But I'm so against all this. For me, it's
you wouldn't have helped him choose a nice coloured one.
It's child abuse, and you're facilitating a really miserable life.
It is. You're
ahead.
right. That's exactly what it is. It's child abuse.
It is, and these parents and some of these doctors and some of these teachers encourage it like it's some big trendy thing to celebrate. It's not. It's going to give that kid severe mental health problems as they get older.
And you get the same stuff, don't you, Steve, at the schools? They are still indulging these kids who identify as a mushroom or an orange. Yeah. And it is not uncommon around this country, this crazy basket case nation of ours, to have classrooms with cat litter trays at the back of the classroom because a couple of the kids identify as cats. Adam's exactly right. These kids should not be indulged with this lunacy, should they?
No, because it's pretend, isn't it? I mean, all kids. I've got a lad who's about to turn 4. He might spend some time pretending he's a member of Paw Patrol, but we don't make him go and poop in the back garden. Do you know what I mean? There's a level of confirming their little pretense that then becomes damaging. Kids should just be free to have some fun and whatever, instead of making it like, oh, you think for half an hour that you're a cat, well, we better go and get you the surgery then. Seems like
that's right,
doesn't it? But I will say this, though, they've picked the right week, because this seems quite extreme. If it weren't for the fact it's the same week when the Greens want kids shooting up. You know what I mean? It seems like they're picking a vein rather than just changing their identity.
Samara, wasn't there that school in Australia where the headmistress ended up having to resign because you had all these kids insisting that there have to be litter trays in the bathrooms, and then the kids started protesting and doing their business in the sinks and whatnot, and were demanding that this head teacher bow down to their needs, and eventually the head teacher ended up just resigning because she couldn't handle it. But she was held to ransom by these teenagers, and then you've got the pressure on the government from they are terrified. Some of the trans activists, they are like wolves. They'll come for you like vultures if you dare question their ideology, and so the government are terrified. If we don't say little boys can wear dresses and be whatever gender they want, that they're all going to be labelled transphobic. Stop giving in to them, I say.
We need to go back to the days when I was a kid. If I'd said to my teachers or my parents, I'm going to wear a dress to school, they would have hit me.
Well,
they would have done. I used to get caned and everything at school.
Well,
never did me any harm. Adam, you want to talk about Hannah Spencer, the Green Goblin from Gorton and Denton, right?
Yes, what a hypocrite she is, and what hypocrisy from the Green Party.
Yeah,
she has multiple properties.
Yeah, she's a property magnate.
Yes, and
tycoon.
She's trying to portray herself as the woman as the people, a plumber.
Yeah.
Yet the Green Party has really quite serious policies out there against landlords. So it is such hypocrisy from this party, and from her. Look, God help us if she wins.
Is she giving away all the spare rooms to migrants? I mean, they say they're going to have an amnesty for all illegal migrants, and well, apparently we're going to give them all houses. But why don't they start off with Hannah Spencer's spare rooms?
She's got a diesel car as well, so she doesn't exactly talks the talk, but doesn't walk the walk. Here is Hannah Spencer's campaign video.
जुल्म सियासतदान जीत सकता है अगर हम रिफॉर्म को रोकने के लिए ग्रीन को वोट ना दें।
मेरा नाम हना स्पेंसर है। मैं ग्रीन पार्टी की उम्मीदवार हूँ।
दुकानदार, सफाई करने वाले, ड्राइवर्स, माएं, ये हम हैं जो इस इलाके को चलाते हैं। लेकिन सियासतदान हमारे लिए काम नहीं कर रहे। बिल्स बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, किराए हमें घरों से निकाल रहे हैं और हम 2 गुना मेहनत करके भी कम कमा रहे हैं। रिफॉर्म हमारी कम्युनिटीज़ को तोड़ना चाहती है। वो उन खानदानों
You see, a lot of people say it's an outrage that you should never be allowed to campaign in Britain for an election in a foreign language. I think it should be compulsory, that you're not allowed to use the English language. You all have to use that in every constituency. That would make the election interesting.
Give it 10 years, we're going to need to.
That would make the interesting... would be good, wouldn't it, Samara?
I mean, it's really aggressive campaign tactics from the Green Party, I have to say.
Urdu, by the way.
Like, this is actually from a PR perspective extremely smart, and it goes back to the Whitechapel conversation. It goes back to the issues of the integration that we're having. I mean, we just should not be having in Britain. I mean, I had that. There was this not famous, but it went kind of crazy. This interview I did with that Bangladeshi candidate who was running for the BNP. This is what we now have when we don't have laws to say, needs to be in English, needs to do this and that. In Whitechapel, the issue was half the people didn't speak English when I was trying to interview them. It's a big problem.
To be serious, while I was just being facetious about it, I mean, should it be the case that you are not allowed to campaign in this country for an election in a foreign language?
Yes. Yeah. If you go to Spain or go to a European country, I doubt that you would have foreign languages being broadcast in this way. Look, they've broadcast in Urdu. Now we have the Joker, Zack Polanski, in Bengal as well. He's tweeting in Bengal. So they are mocking us. They're not just embracing the local community. They are mocking us.
Well, I mean, or are they just going for the vote? I mean, there's in Gorton and Denton, there's a lot of Urdu-speaking people. I mean, as Samara says, I can see the smartness of that strategy, of that tactic. But what do you think, Steve? I mean, should foreign languages be banned when people are campaigning for British elections?
If you're bringing the ban, at least it's a fair playing field then. But I think it's both. It's both cynical and smart. That they're doing it because they know exactly what they're doing, and also the market is there. Look, I'm not saying the Green Party has been religiously captured, but they have changed their slogan to "Green Peace be upon him." So I think there's a risk.
I mean, what's clear is that the left are going down this route of being married together with the Islamists, and what is going to happen is that the Islamists are going to destroy the woke left. I mean, have a look at Iran, and you can see that already from, for example, the fact that the whole environmental policy has just all disappeared now from the Green Party's
They don't talk about
agenda.
it anymore. The one thing that Zack Polanski never mentions is climate change or the environment.
No, but this might be a smart move for Denton and Gorton, but as a national move, now that this has gone viral, so many people have seen it, and it might put them off. They might have seen the Greens as, they haven't got a chance of winning, or they're harmless.
But people
now many are going to see that.
Ali being the deputy, even though he shouted Allahu Akbar when he won his council election, he's a pretty off-putting guy, if you ask me. But people still, I mean, it's just you've got these people voting for them who are still of this worldview that all immigration is amazing, hence they've got this open borders policy, and that there isn't any concern whatsoever of our country and our politics being taken over by a significant proportion of Muslims from communities that haven't integrated properly running the show. But I think having a law in place to say that you have to campaign in English is basic, because we have restrictions on
do we all think that it should be a law that you have to campaign in English?
Yes.
And campaigning in a foreign language should be banned?
I mean, surely if you're not integrated enough to speak
I prefer my
English,
law
then
that it's compulsory. You do it in a foreign language.
Well, you shouldn't even
Chinese.
have dual citizenship.
Name the language. Yeah, this year. This election, we'll be doing it in Russian. How about that?
Well,
one day.
The thing is, I mean, you get terrorist counsellors like Shahid Butt out of this opportunistic sort of mentality to pick up votes in some of these areas where they can really talk to their constituents properly. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably pretty severe to say you should ban this, but I think it's interesting from a Greens perspective.
Absolutely. I mean, it's no doubt it's a clever tactic. The question is should it be allowed? Now, let's move on. Chloe, you want to talk about ISIS bride Shamima Begum. What would you like to say about her?
Shamima Begum has a new plan to try and get back to the UK.
Looking good,
and it's
Shamima.
It's not with the use of lefty lawyers.
Looking happy as well, isn't she?
It's she's going to try and use people smugglers rather than lawyers this time to get herself back to the UK. She and her friend Hoda are plotting to pay. There's a people smuggler offering to smuggle them out to Turkey for $5,000. We've seen the text messages with them negotiating, and they're hoping if they get to Turkey, that from there, Turkey will deport them and Turkey will have no choice but to deport them back to the UK. But if that plan fails, they could then try and go all the way to Britain illegally and end up arriving in Dover on a small boat. But plan A is to go to Turkey. And now how are they going to get the $5,000? Because they're stuck in a camp with no money. They're not meant to have any phones or anything like this. They're trying to manipulate journalists by saying, oh, when we get to Turkey, you can be the first to have an exclusive interview with us. Oh, and by the way, can you pay us in advance? So that we then got some cash?
I want to know this, Samara. What do you think? When Chloe says, well, they want to get to Turkey and then Turkey will have no choice but to deport Shamima Begum to Britain, why? It's not her country.
Exactly.
No, she's not a citizen there or anything like that. But I guess maybe because Britain's so soft-touched that they may have to allow her back in. I mean, where would she be deported to? Back to Syria?
Officially, this didn't really.
It's a good question.
She's actually stateless, but our contention, Sajid Javid, the then Home Secretary, when he took away her citizenship, it was on the basis that she has Bangladeshi grandparents. So I suppose technically that is her country. So that is where...
Maybe she could end up in Bangladesh.
She could play for them.
Well, that's the point. I mean, if you, the obligation of where Turkey would deport them to would probably be to Bangladesh.
She could be a politician there and then maybe get deported to the UK and be a councillor in Tower Hamlets.
Bangladesh don't want her either. So...
You asked where she would get the money from. I'm surprised there's not lefties queuing up to give her the $5,000 to get here. But can you imagine she come over on a dinghy and she was put in the Bell Hotel near me? I would take that as the ultimate trial and definitely think I'm in some sort of matrix if that happens.
But you know how much, if she gets back to this country, either legally or illegally, it will cost British taxpayers well over £1 million a year just to monitor her security-wise. She is a serious security risk. Right. She's a terrorist, right, Samara?
How can we trust a word she says? I mean, genuinely, at least we actually know more about her than most of the people coming across the channel. I mean, that's the only plus I can think of.
That's a good idea.
Like, we're quite aware.
Come on, Shamima, come on. We fancy you coming across because at least we'll know who you are.
Yeah, you were previously a terrorist. Great, at least you got that on file.
She is a little schemer. She is a terrorist. She married an ISIS warrior, had 4 kids in that hellish caliphate. They all died. And she would walk. She gave interviews saying, I'd regularly walk, to the shops past waste paper bins full of beheaded heads. And when she was asked, well, wasn't that shocking to you? She just went like this.
And do you know the worst thing that she said?
She's semi-human, I'll tell you that.
The worst thing she's ever said, when she was asked if UK children or British children are legitimate targets. And she said yes.
Yeah.
She should never, ever set foot in this country
Absolutely
again.
right, absolutely right. Stay exactly where you are in that fly-blown desert. Problem being, of course, as the Syrian regime falls apart at the seam, the security at those detention centres in the desert becomes extremely lax, and that's why they fear Shamima Begum will just walk out, make her way to Calais and get on a small boat and end up in the 4-star Premier Inn somewhere.
This could actually work. I mean, it's the best plan she's had so far, because when it comes to illegal migration, we're incapable of stopping it in any way whatsoever. So
absolutely.
If she turned up on a boat, that's it. We can't get rid of her.
Yeah, quite. Well, let's go to break.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to part 3, our Plank of the Week. Steve N. Allen, you are next. Who have you got in your sights?
North Yorkshire Council, because they fined a guy. So remember when we were talking about flags? It feels like that's a story of last year, but people were putting up some Union Jack flags, the odd St George's Cross, and that made people really angry. Well, this guy, he's Will Haylett. He owns a business that involves having a cherry picker. The business, I presume, picks cherries. I've not looked at the full details. But he used his cherry picker to help people get some flags up, because they were doing that, popping them on the old lamppost. A bit safer than trying to do it in the Robert Jenrick way with a massive ladder. He'll do anything to look taller, that guy, won't he? But they've now fined him nearly $3,000 for taking down the flag. And I saw this bit, and obviously the first question is, how many people have been fined for putting up a Palestinian flag? Oh, that's right, 0, because we're in Palestine. Wait a minute, no, that's not right. But then you think, this council have just made $3,000 out of this. What do we know about councils? They are all bankrupt. Part of me thinks this might have been a scheme all along by the councils to kind of get people, put some flags up, ka-ching, they're making money off this.
So why, Chloe, do you think that councils all over the country, when patriots put up Union Jacks and the St George's flag, why did all these councils go, this is an absolute abomination? They spent hundreds of thousands of pounds all over the country pulling them all down. Why didn't they just leave them there?
Well, I mean, first of all, clearly the people who are working on the councils are not patriotic enough. But second of all, councils are full of Karens and NIMBYs. And anything, any change you could put, it doesn't matter if it is a positive change, you do anything without the appropriate permissions and, spending 10 years in court arguing with the council over planning permission over a flag, unless you've got all the perfect permissions, they are going to kick up a fuss about it.
But don't you think, Adam, it's more that the councillors are just left-wing and something about left-wing socialists and Lib Dems? They just don't like patriotism. They don't like our national flag. This is exclusive to Britain. Nowhere else in the world do the citizens of a country hate their own flag, but for some reason, British people do. Too many of them.
Let's just remind the viewers why these flags are going up. It's because of a spate of sex attacks against women and children up and down the country from people from Somalia, Ethiopia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and foreign lands. And this act of putting up the flag is a protest by us, the people, the common man and woman, to show the government we're still here and we're not going away and we're not going to put up with this any longer. Every town that I drive past where these flags are, I feel a sense of pride and that there are people locally standing up against this. And let me tell you now, the council can put them down all they like. I know a lot of people that are putting these flags up, and they will replace them twice-fold. They will put 2 up where 1 comes down.
I know they do. I've had the guys from Raising the Colours, I've had them on my show. And yes, that's exactly their policy. If the left-wing local councils pull down their flags, they have a policy of going back and putting 2 up. It's an interesting sort of phenomenon that's going on, that there are millions of people in this country, much to the shock of some of these councillors, and people like Zack Polanski, who are actually proud of their country and actually proud of their flag. That's what's going on, isn't it, Samara?
Councils should actually be paying to have all their towns and cities draped in the British flag. It should be the complete opposite. And I agree completely with what you said, Adam. I mean, I think they probably allegedly had a meeting where they got together and said, oh, all these right-wing flag shaggers, we need to set a precedent. We need to fine him the maximum amount that we can so that none of this happens in our towns. Really... I mean, it's like they're in a psychodrama of their own. They're insane. And you're right, it's a double standard. I mean, you just never see the Palestinian flag being brought down or dragged down. That'd cause riots in some certain communities.
Yeah, like it's the crime of the century to put up your national flag. I mean, come on. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Samara, it is your turn.
Well, this Romeo woman, I mean, she's so forgettable, Antonia Romeo. I'm literally... Dame Antonia Romeo. She's kind of...
There she is.
She's, she's...
Next to the flag.
Well, fresh off the heels of a bunch of bullying allegations for the swanky job that she was holding for Labour in New York. She had lots of criticisms over there. She's not well liked within the party. It's come out that she had been hosting and making sure that her acolytes and her colleagues were part of a gender non-conforming book club.
She's a woman. Let's be honest. There was a lot of allegations that this was a big boys club. But that in the media, it was Starmer's big boys club. And suddenly he felt compelled just to get a woman. So it doesn't matter if she was qualified or she was the best for the job. He had to put a woman there.
Exactly right. It's
and
a woke.
That is it. And
It's a
she shouldn't
woke.
have got it.
It's a woke appointment.
What?
So-
Come on. No.
True.
It is.
All right.
It feels like she's just yet another one of these
woke?
lefties.
I'm not woke. I mean, it's just she's probably more man than woman when I've been reading into her.
Why do you think? Why do you think
She
it's-
might be gender non-conforming.
Look, it's like Keir Starmer. You know, he likes to boast. I got the first female chancellor. Now I got the first female.
Doesn't mean you're any
cabinet
good at your
secretary.
job.
Well,
I don't think
course it
anyone
doesn't.
is giving Rachel Reeves any sympathy. Think, oh, it's okay. She's trashing the economy.
I didn't say they were good at their
She's the
jobs.
first woman.
I didn't say they were good at their jobs. I said that
But
Keir
they
Starmer was
think that-
keen on giving them a job just because they're women, because it makes him look woke and good. Anyway, let's go to break.
Live from London, it's Plank of the Week with Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is the final section of this exceptional edition of Plank of the Week, and it's my turn to make the last nomination. And this is Ashford Borough Council down in Kent. There's a nice guy, pub landlord, who runs the Flying Horse pub in Smarden, Kent. Paul Hartfield is his name, and he's raised hundreds of pounds for charity by offering customers a lift home at the end of the night in exchange for a small charity donation. So they can have a few drinks. He drives them home in his taxi, and they donate to the charity. The council has said you can't do that because it's against the law. So he's been banned from this very nice gesture. Good for the drinkers and good for charity.
As a fellow publican, I
course,
applaud this man. You know, it's a tough industry and he's obviously working hard. He's obviously a very generally nice guy trying to raise money for charity. What I want to know is who grassed him up?
Yeah,
who let the council know?
Yes,
but I mean, always the job's worst, isn't it, Steve?
Well, you
Always.
could basically play close answer from the previous one. People in councils are absolutely, they're all about the paperwork, aren't they? What, you've got an idea? Oh, we need to run it through a few committees first. You're not allowed to do that, stamp. And that's all that's happened, this great idea to try and save a pub when they are struggling, aren't they, for about 1 million different reasons. He comes up with a way of trying to keep his business afloat, and they go, oh, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, the council apparently says because he wasn't licensed. But, you know, this is it. There's always a Jobsworth in the town hall who'll come up with some reasons to stop anything, right, Samara?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's so divided at the moment, and the pub is the one place where everyone kind of comes together, or just drinks in general, you know, sharing something around. Community used to be a real thing where we didn't have all this red tape around it, especially in Britain. It was known for that. And unfortunately, all these bureaucrats are just coming in and making everything and everyone sort of divided and split apart. It's just let the man, like, do what he wants to do. It's so simple. I don't know if we'll ever get back to common sense.
Well, Labour government, the socialists don't like pubs because they don't like people enjoying themselves.
They're absolutely killing us. I've been a publican over 20 years myself. Grew up in pubs. My mum and dad were publicans. And it's never been so hard. And I will say, please go and support this man's pub if you're there.
The Flying Horse.
And if you're near me, come and support my pub, the Three Colts in Buckhurst Still, because it is a tough game.
Three Colts.
Yeah, the Three Colts.
I
don't know why I'm laughing at that.
I don't.
Well, I do actually. But it's I mean, Buckhurst Hill, lovely area. Go to have a drink at Adam's pub. I'm going to do it myself soon, even though I don't drink. You don't drink, do you?
I don't drink, no.
What?
But I'll do you a Perrier and lime.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
It's true, folks. I haven't had a drink for a long time.
I don't want to go tinfoil hat here, but I think they don't want us all going to the pub and talking about Labour, and I don't think they want anyone in places where they can go together and rat on about the government.
Well, they want us to have the banter police in pubs now.
Exactly.
And if you dare misgender one of these, you know, woke students who's got a bar job on the side during the holidays, then you could end up thrown behind bars.
But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It's if Adam will know all about that.
Yeah.
It's if, for example, me and Samara are having a drink at the bar and we get involved in one of our classically provocative conversations, you know, using nasty terms and all that. The staff can say, I've been exposed to triggering traumatizing language and
Take me
sue
to
you,
court, yeah.
sue the pub landlord. So literally pub landlords can be sued for conversations that their customers have over a drink in their pubs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keir Starmer's Britain. Now it is time to pick the winner, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's obvious. It's the very first one. Adam, we already knew you were a winner, but you are again because it's obviously Prince Andrew. I mean, not just for the massages, but just for everything, really. Prince Andrew, you are Plank of the Week. Big thanks to Adam Brooks, Chloe Dobbs, Steve and Allen, and the remarkable Samara Gill. Thank you all for watching. You've been an amazing audience. I've been Kevin O'Sullivan, just as well, really. And we will be back next week with more of the same. We expect you to be here. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.